ba ba boom, oh yeah, boom, ba ba boom, say what, boom, ba ba boom, cool, yeah.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Larry's Pop Pod, Mini Pop Edition. I'm Chris Larry.
I'm Amelia Larry.
And for this mini pop, we're going to talk about a exhibition experience that we had just recently at the Brooklyn Academy of Music and their Teknopolis exhibit. It's in the BAM Fisher Hall, and it's part of BAM Kids, and it was actually an art and interactive experience that was completely curated and put together by the BAM Education Department. So as an informal educator, big shout out to that team. They did a great job. They describe Teknopolis as named for the Greek words techne, craft or art, and polis, ideal city. Teknopolis is an interactive digital art experience desired to inspire creativity, connect with the future, and imagine new possibilities with technology. The Digital Arts Playground is back for the second year after the first year was sold out. And we're recording this on a Saturday, the 10th. We saw it on Friday the 9th, and I think it only goes through Monday the 12th. So we might rush this one up online so you could still have a chance to go see it. But we want to talk about our experience. Amelia, give us some of your first impressions.
I was blown away by this expedition. It was like nothing you've ever seen before. It's like a mix of encounter technology, which we talked about previously, and something we talked in our Toronto episode was like TIFF Kids. It was all those technology, but advanced. And it kept on getting better and better and better.
I was definitely reminded of our TIFF Kids digital playground experience, which we went to last winter, and you can hear on our She Goes Boom episode. We talk a little bit about that. TIFF is the Toronto International Film Festival, and they run a very similar exhibition. Definitely, I think, inspired by some of the same ideas. What was both different maybe about this Teknopolis version, and what are some new things we experienced?
Well, I'm going to start with the new things we've experienced. There was a lot of motion capture, which I don't really remember in TIFF Kids. Motion capture means it catches your body outline and it changes it into something different. Like there was this one where you were a shade in water, or you were little sparkly things. I really love that. I think some ways they were different. There was in this one, there was actually controllers that you could move around the world with. And the controllers, one of them where you could draw with these little blocks, which is super cool. Yeah, that's just a little bit of it.
Yeah, that was on the lobby level, and that was called the interactive installations. And yeah, they would use motion capture in some pretty crazy ways. I think my favorite one in that room was they did all this cool projections on the wall, and you could make sort of colorful waves of yourself, or you could kind of manipulate these digital strings almost like on an instrument or something like that. But the one that was on the floor, that one was so cool because it reacted to how you walked. There was one that was kind of this very black and white thing, and then there was one that was sort of more tie-dye.
And again, that ties back to Encounter because when you first step into Encounter, there's little stingrays and they go away from you. So it's kind of like the same thing, different idea.
So that was a good room. We'll post some of the pictures and videos onto our brand new Facebook page. And then we'll put the link to those in our show notes so you can see a little bit more about that. What was the next thing you wanted to call out?
What we actually did first was a VR experience. If you don't know what VR is, it is something you put on and you look through this imaginary world, and it's super crazy. So this one, you put on a VR, you had 2 hand controllers, and if you were with someone, they were probably I'd say 10 feet away from you. And the first one was called Mysteries of Life, I think. It's just
Life of Us.
Oh, Life of Us, yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking. So the VR stands for virtual reality, if you didn't know. And yeah, you put on goggles, you put on a headset. We could actually talk to each other.
Yes.
That was super cool.
Crazy.
So we were both in this immersive world, and we were able to communicate and laugh and sort of interact with each other. And it was kind of like almost a story of evolution, or it started off we were microbes, and then we moved on to these like tadpole things, and then we were gorillas, and we were pterodactyls, and we were lizards. I'll give you a little bit of the description of that one. It was breathe fire, swim underwater, survive the ice age, and soar over the volcanoes as you evolve through different creatures and a billion years of evolution in this action-packed, multiplayer virtual reality adventure. They go on, but I think you get the point. It was incredible. I gotta say, I've actually been doing, not really extensively, but I've had virtual reality experiences ever since I was in early college. Me and my brother Scott, would you go to the mall and at the arcade, you could pay like $25 for like 5 minutes of this very primitive virtual reality. So I've done it before. I've used the goggles. We've had Google Cardboard, stuff like that. This was by far the best virtual reality experience that I ever had. The animation was great. The fact that we were able to interact, it was just super cool.
Yeah, and super cool because you could like breathe fire, the pterodactyls. I think my favorite was you are a gorilla running in basically a field, and you have these monkeys are jumping on like your face and your back, and you have to like press this button to throw them off of you.
In that one, because you were a gorilla, you had like 5 fingers. So you could actually grab the monkeys and rip them off you and throw you, and they just kept coming. Yeah, when the one got on you, stuck on your face, that was freaky.
Yeah, you were just like, whoa. And they were like, the sounds were all coming at you. And what was cool is everyone was watching your adventure, like in the theater.
Yeah, because people were in line to do it next. We must have looked ridiculous, just like wandering around with stuff and going ooh, because I know I was saying dumb stuff and making goofy sounds, because at one point in 2 or 3 of the different evolutionary worlds, when you talked, in one you blew bubbles and another you blew fire. So like I was saying I was like doing stuff like going like ba, 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 just to make bubbles come out.
Yeah, and in some your voice was very high pitched, like and it was super funny, and yeah.
All right, so it was an awesome experience. We enjoyed it a ton. Let's talk about quickly a couple of other elements.
Well, the next one is also VR, but you're actually watching a movie, so it's different from interactive VR. And this one, we watched 3 movies.
Here, you want me to tell them what they were?
Yeah.
All right, so I'm looking at, only way I'm saying that, Amelia, not to be rude, but I'm looking at the program so we can kind of give credit where credit is due. We watched basically a 360 movie. So you're in the virtual world, but this one was still live action camera. It didn't matter where you looked, you were interacting with it. And it was under a cracked sky, and it was basically about divers and their experience underneath the glaciers. And it was wild. Tell us about it.
Yeah, it was super there was weird things floating by. There was like bones on the ground.
Oh, the seal.
Yeah, it's like, ugh. But then there's all these weird like jellyfish I saw once come by, and big, like almost like a broken eggshell.
They were sea sponges, I think, giant sea sponges. Yeah, they said that it is some of the clearest water anywhere on Earth. You wouldn't think that. It's so cold and underneath all this giant icebergs, but it was super clear. So that one was cool. We also watched an animated one called Asteroids, and it was basically this space adventure with these 3 space aliens. And actually, it's kind of interesting. This is one of a lot of awards for animated shorts. And the voice was Elizabeth Banks, who's an actress, famous actress, who's one of the alien voices. And the other one was of some YouTube star who I don't know, but her name was Ingrid Nilsson as the voices. And this one was super funny and just cute, and the animation was great. What do you think about that one?
Yeah, it was actually kind of funny. It's like, so first they're all friends, they're playing with each other, and then these little, like, almost like bacteria-sized things come, and they're like munching. They all just go on the window of their spaceship, and then the guy goes out to clean it, but then he gets sucked out, and then a little, like, almost like a robot one goes to save him, and it's super cute.
And we also watched one more called The Impossible Hoverboard. That one was back to a 360 movie, and it was about these engineers and designers who were building and then testing a hoverboard. That one was super cool. They were all super cool, but that was also the last thing we did after our 2-hour time limit. I was a little bit dizzy and nauseous by that time.
Yeah, it was kind of like, oh, do I really want to watch this double feature, or should I just take it off?
Yeah. So, right, because there was like kind of a second little one that came at the end. And by that point, I was like, Okay, I'm a little bit done with this. So it was a really fantastic time. There was some other exhibits. Oh, we did a green screen movie. We'll put that a link to that where we get to deliver an email. It was a lot of adventures. I want to do a shout out to Superfan Mark. He hooked us up with these tickets. Unfortunately, he thrown his back out and he said, "Hey, I think you guys could use these and do some fun stuff." So thank you, Superfan Mark Balgavy, for the tickets. It was a great experience. Any parting words?
Just that get to your tickets now. It is a very popular museum exhibit, whatever you want to call it, and it's soon going to be sold out.
Yeah, and go on. But keep your eyes on, if you're in the New York area, on the Brooklyn Academy of Music. I think they're going to do more stuff like this. And really, these kind of art performance museum spaces in cities all over the world are doing some very similar stuff. So keep your eyes out for it. And that's it for this Larry's Pop Pod Mini Pop.
Bye-bye.